Okay, so I'm gonna read this poem. You don't have to do anything with it, but it's just an example of the way that our minds can kind of tell what the parts of speech are, even if the words are nonsense. So this poem, so while I'm reading this, I just want you to think in your head, like, oh yeah, I can tell that's a noun, and I can tell that's an adjective, I can tell that's a verb. But the poem's kind of just nonsense words. It's called Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brilling, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wob. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrob. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the fruminous Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the maxim foe he sought. So rested he by the tumtum tree, and stood a while in thought. And, as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the Tolgi wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brilling, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wob. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mom raths outrob. That was literally. Yeah, I know. But you can kind of tell which words are supposed to be nouns and adjectives and verbs. Okay, I'm just gonna, Mr. Ball, I'm just gonna switch the.
I have one more kid to check, and then I can do the rest of you.
Okay. Okay. So today we're gonna talk about adverbs, and you can look at your note sheet while I go in this. So I'm just gonna do like a quick direct instruction, and then we'll do a activity. So just adjectives modify nouns and pronouns, and adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. So this is an example of an adverb modifying a verb. He drove slowly. How did he drive? Slowly. Yeah. And then here's an example of an adverb modifying an adjective. He drove a very fast car. So fast is the adjective. How fast was his car? Yep. And then here's an adverb modifying another adverb. She moved quite slowly down the aisle. And then how slowly did she move? Quite slowly. Okay? So, what is the difference between adjectives and adverbs? What'd you say, Tanika? Yep. Okay. JC?
Adverbs modify, but adjectives describe.
They both modify, so they both describe, but what they modify is different. Okay. So adjectives modify nouns and pronouns, and modify means to change in some way or to give more detail. Okay. So for example, an adjective, this is just a review or to compare the two. I ate a meal, and when you add an adjective, I ate an enormous meal. So enormous modifies meal. The noun. Sorry, that's okay. And like we talked about on Monday, and you probably reviewed yesterday, adjectives answer the questions which, what kind, and how many. Okay. And then adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. And this is kind of a clue when you're trying to differentiate between the two. Adverbs can easily be identified because they usually, but not always, end in ly. So if you look at that sheet I gave you of the chart with all the commonly used adverbs, you can see that probably 85% of them, 85% of the words end in ly. So that's a good way to tell if it's an adjective or an adverb. Okay? And then adverbs most commonly answer the question how. But they also answer when, where, and why. And all this information too is on your notes sheet. Okay. So the dog smells clean. What is clean? JC?
It's an adverb.
No, it's an adjective because it's describing the way the dog, which is a noun, smells. But the dog smells carefully.
That's an adverb because it's describing how he smells.
Right. Yep. So you ask the question, how does he smell? He smells carefully. Thanks, everyone. Okay? And then here's another example which compares the two. Leo dressed for the quick recital. So what's quick in this? Yep. JC?
It's an adjective
Yep. And how do you know?
because it's describing the recital.
Yep. Which is a noun. So what kind of recital is it?
A quick one.
Yep. Versus Leo dressed quickly for the recital. In this instance, it's an adverb because it's describing how Leo dressed. Do you guys see what I mean? The difference? Okay. All right. Excuse me. So here's another example. Mimi seems strange and upset. Those two adjectives, strange and upset, describe the way Mimi seems to be acting. Versus Mimi is strangely upset.
Adverb.
Yep. And also you can kind of tell because they end in ly. Okay. Okay, so now I have this worksheet. Maybe somebody can help me pass it out.
I can.
Okay. Thanks. So,
Look like this.
no, this is a different one.
Yeah.
And then for this one, if you could put your name on it, and then I'll collect it and turn it and get back to you on Friday. Also, I have the worksheets from Monday. I'll pass
Great,
it
so
back.
you'll put those in your binders just because it's for reference.
Okay, everybody has